Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television talk show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. on the Eastern time zone as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. It's always so much fun. Thank you so much for being with me every day. You know, you can find us syndicated on Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. You can find us on all the social media sites as well. I love talking to you on Facebook.com/DFeazell. We got X, and we have YouTube, and all those wonderful ways we can communicate with each other. Again, thank you so much for watching. Also, thank you so much for sending emails my way. Donna@DonnasEdge.com. That's Donna@DonnasEdge.com. So a lot of you want to know about tech stuff, and I'm an old techie from way back. Now, I'm tech from back in the 1995, and that era. And I used to work for a company called GTE. Now, they were known as Contel Cellular back in that day. So that was a very long time ago. And so I got to be in on the ground floor of cell phones when it was all beginning, you know, for the public, like folks like me and you could use a cell phone anywhere we went. So it was a lot of fun. And then later on, Phil and I owned an internet company called Internet Port, and it was a dial-up. And I'm going to tell you what, there was a lot of stuff that went on back in those days. But it was almost like an analog thing. There's some things I really liked about that technology better than what we have now. Now, you didn't have all the graphics and all those wonderful things, but to me, it was much faster. I know slower baud. We had, the 9600 baud modems, and we thought we were kicking it when we went to 33.6, and then we went to 56K. Well, we thought we were something else in the community when we had that. Now you got all of the T1s and all those wonderful ways that we connect on the internet now. But found an article. And it's by Forbes.com, written there, and simple tech tips for everyday users. Sometimes we just don't need all the big elaborate stuff. You just need the thing. And it's the simple things that really keep the business going, or, whatever you're teaching your kids at home. And I'm going to tell you, my hat's off for you people who homeschool. I think you're absolutely awesome. You're raising great kids that way as well. So let's go ahead and get started on the tech tips, and consider both your current and future needs before purchasing tech tools. That's extremely important, because I'm just telling you, as time goes by, these great big huge soundboards and things like that we used to have a long time ago when I would actually have the show, I had to have a connoisseur of people running around with me if I ever did a remote. And we had lights all over the place, and it was hot. It was just terrible. And now everything is so much more simplified. So I'm glad I didn't spend all that money back in that day. The TV station did it for me, of course, but I'm glad I didn't have to pay for that. And so what you got going now is simpler. It doesn't take up near as much baud space on your computer. And so it's just the way to go. But consider how you spend your money right now. So determine both your current and potential future needs before looking for new technology products. So what the author goes on to say is it's better to spend a little more research time and or money to find the device that you can grow into, rather than replacing an inadequate device later. You're just losing money that way. Believe me, we've all done it. So you can save time and money just to do a little bit of planning. This is another one right here, and I love this one. It's called Leverage Keyboard Shortcuts. And what that means is learn keyboard shortcuts. You can do Control P really fast, and you can print stuff on the computer. So let's dig a little bit more into it. This can drastically increase your productivity by reducing the time you spend on just common tasks. So you can, for example, you can on a PC, you can do Control C to copy and Control V to paste. Oh, that's really fast. So let's just say I found a website I really like, and I want to share it on my Facebook page. So I've got the domain name up on the computer, and I get the Control C, and that's going to copy it. And then all I got to do is just drop it on the Facebook page, Control V. It's done. Then all I have to do is post it. Also, if you go on a regular updating your software can improve the device's performance, but be careful there. I've done that the hard way where I had to take it off because it was just too much of the good stuff. Okay, now on a regular basis, if you're updating your software, it can improve the performance of the device, extending its lifespan and enhance security. Now, lastly, periodic cleaning and proper storage can prevent physical damage and also prolong the life of your equipment. I like to keep a toothbrush handy. And also there's a spray that I use on my keyboard, and it cleans all that dust and stuff because it's just going to happen. Anything electronic, it's just going to attract dust. And, your refrigerator that you've had back there, and you've had it for a good couple of years, and you think, well, it's not so old. It's not going to be so bad. It does. It collects dust. So pull that thing out. We're not talking about computers right now, but we are talking about a big appliance that attracts dust. So if you'll keep those coils and everything cleaned off, you're going to find your refrigerator runs much more efficient. Same thing with the laptop computer and your desktop. And even your cell phone. Be careful on the cell phone. Don't spray stuff inside that. Okay. This is where the power goes right there. So what you want to do there is you can get the same thing you use on your keyboard, on the keys, because it's going to be consistent and it's not going to blow liquid in there, because you don't want to do this. Now, the liquid will eventually dry, but the problem is when you connect the power cord to this right here, and there's just the least bit of moisture in there, you could potentially ruin your cell phone. So we don't want to do that. That costs too much money. And then if you're not paying a whole lot, you're paying a 3-year term to stay with them, which is what we did when you would stay with them anyway. So be really careful about those things. Okay, let's talk about, we talked about cleaning it by prolonging the life of the equipment. Now let's get on down here and talk about keeping up with the evolution of AI. Okay, my thoughts about that. AI can be the absolute most wonderful thing that you can add to your business or to your personal life, or it can be the absolute worst thing you can do for your business and your present life. So embrace curiosity about artificial intelligence and its potential to enhance various aspects of our lives. And it really can make life easier. Now, this can include productivity apps, personal finance tools. That's where I'm going. I don't think I want it in finance tools, or even fitness and health trackers. So be actively experimenting with these technologies. And now remember, the more you know up front about a beginning technology, the easier it's going to be for you in the long run. Okay. Average users can discover new ways AI can improve their daily routines and make their lives even more efficient. Now, let me say this, okay, because I'm just telling you, I love tech. I love the tech world. But also remember all the things that you need to do on a daily basis. Okay, remember me telling you all that my son brought on a note from his teacher, this is in the 1990s, that he had to have a calculator in math. And I'm like, what? To me, that was, and I still feel that way. It was the worst thing we could do to students, where they're relying on using technology, they're relying using a calculator, relying on those things instead of using the noodle up here. We need to know these things, but have a balance, okay? Because I don't want you to get away from how to do the regular routine things that you have to do by hand as well. Explore low-code and no-code platforms. And what does that mean? Okay, one valuable tech tip is to explore and leverage modern low-code and no-code platforms such as Microsoft Power Platform. Now, these platforms empower non-technical users to create applications, automate workflows, and solve business problems without needing extreme coding knowledge. We're hearing a lot about coding, and let's be careful out there. And I know some people say, well, you know what? The government's going to know everything about you. Too late. They already do. Because if you got a cell phone and you got a tracking system on your cell phone, they know where you are. Okay. Now, use Password Manager. This can be helpful. because we have to change our passwords so often. So when you've got, let's say you've got, everything you pay your bills on, you've got your credit cards, you've got maybe your house bill, you pay that on your cell phone or on your computer, the power bill, all those daily things that you have to have. And you have to have these passwords. A password manager I found to be very helpful. Now, this is what the author of this article from Forbes.com says. I cannot stress this enough. Use a password manager. As a human, you cannot create randomness and you cannot remember randomness. I agree with that. Because what they want you to do is have like so many cursives or so many capitals, lowercase letters, maybe put in a few asterisks, things like that. And it's hard to remember that. And then I tried one time where I did some caps and then some lowercase letters. And although it was considered a strong password, it was a pain to remember, so where did I put the caps and where did I leave it, lowercase? So, I get this, I dig it. Okay, so instead of trying to manage a bunch of different passwords, create one very strong password to protect all your other machine-generated passwords. Okay, the variety of passwords will limit the impact of any one data leak. But here's the problem. Okay, one's going to say, we must change the password. Because I do have some that I definitely, let's just say our insurance. If something happens to me and, Phil will get some money off of that. So that one wants to be updated and changed every 90 days. And that's kind of a hassle to have to do that. But the problem is it won't let you into the system unless you do that. And I have a few other things that are that way as well. Okay, no, it's never too late to learn to code. Okay, now my favorite tech tip, according to the author, is to never give up on coding. By committed to an hour of code each day and blocking that time in your calendar, you'll continually develop problem-solving skills and enhance your productivity. So consistent practice will help you stay current with technology, make the most of your devices and tools, and ultimately will improve your relationship with technology. Okay, number 7, be selective when installing apps. If you're not too careful, you're going to have too many apps on your phone, too many apps on the computer, too many of everything. I agree here. Install apps only from trusted sources to maintain your device's cleanliness and security. Excessive unused apps and background services can negatively impact the device performance and the battery life. Yeah, have you ever noticed the life on your battery on your cell phone doesn't last as long? And you put like every restaurant in a 90-mile radius and it slows it down. It just does, because one thing, what it's doing is it's trying to find your current situation. It wants to know where you are currently. And so every app on your cell phone is doing that, and it's draining power like crazy. A lot of folks say, well, I've got to go get a new battery, and they want to spend $100 on a battery when all you had to do is get rid of some of those little apps that you got on there. Okay, for company-owned devices, it's advisable to only install approved apps. Implementing mobile device management software helps businesses effectively manage those apps on mobile devices. True. Let's go into a commercial break and we shall return in just a few minutes. Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At at Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020. We're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462. We're back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television talk show where truth matters. We're getting the truth out there for you with tech tips. And you know what? It seems like because technology is just exploding, especially with AI coming in, and there's just so much to know and so much to learn, and it almost changes on a daily basis. And I'm just telling you, what we thought was a big deal back in 1985 when I got into the cell phone business is nowhere near what it is now. We thought we had troubles then. Oh my goodness. It was easy flow back then because there's so much. You also have to keep up with the thugs that are getting in trying to mess up the technology world as well. So it's just all about it. Okay. Now keep up with storage management. Yes. On a regular basis, you want to clean up and optimize the device's storage by uninstalling and unused apps that are on your phone, on your computer, on your laptop, on whatever. This can improve the device's performance and help you avoid storage-related issues. Also, on a regular basis, backing up important data to a secure location can prevent data loss due to hardware failure, theft, or accidental deletion. Totally agree with that one too. Okay, this one is a great one. Take advantage of cloud storage. Okay, leverage the power of cloud storage. Now, photos and stuff like that, like wedding pictures and all those, I still want all of those things. Brad growing up, Larissa, all that stuff. I still want all of that in a photo album. You know, what if something goes up for the power grid? I'm not going to be able to turn my computer on. I'm not going to be able to charge the computer. I'm just done in one. So I still want that album that I can flip through and look at the pages. But I have to tell you, cloud storage is pretty cool too. So leverage the power of your cloud storage. Not only does it help you keep those devices uncluttered, but it also assures your data is safe and accessible from anywhere. So on a regular basis, you want to back up your data to a cloud service like Google Drive or Dropbox. It's a simple yet effective way to expand the device's capabilities, work from anywhere, and collaborate in real time. Okay, get familiar with the device's storage systems. That's important too. So get back to basics and learn where information is stored on your device. Depending on the device, web downloads and screenshots and messaging attachments can end up in different places. So do this when you're not in a hurry, okay? And you can kind of take a little time to concentrate. Take time to practice finding these local files, then opening and editing, sending and deleting them to build some muscle memory for the future. I wanted to say this too, and this is when you do a screenshot. Screenshots do take up a whole lot of space on your computer. If you've still got some thumb drives, those are awesome. So let's say you've got some dedicated to your website. You're doing a website, you're keeping up with a Facebook page, you're doing, you're working for whoever. Maybe you just want to sell some stuff on eBay. That's a big chore right there. Try to keep the pictures just on a thumb drive. That'll help you out too. And that way, if something happens to the cloud, you got that little thumb drive, and label it. Make sure you label it. You have a drawer full of them. You got to put each one in. That's going to take time. So make sure you put a little label on it. I like to use something that I know is going to be a permanent marker, because handling it, I got hand cream on my hands. Handling it, some of that's going to come off. So use something with a permanent marker. Sharpies are the best. Take a do-it-yourself approach to challenges. My favorite tech tip is to do it yourself. That sounds like me, doesn't it? Rather than always trying to track down a workaround or whatever you're doing, whether it's writing, coding, building machines, downloading, or using an app, doing searches and research and so on, technology needs to be figured out. So if you don't give up easily, but instead try to figure out how to use and troubleshoot technology yourself, you're likely to find ways to do things better and faster and find new ways and ideas. If I have something new, like a new piece of equipment, I have this right here. It's the Samsung. I'm loving this thing right here. It's a very, very small device. And I'm using that. I don't know if you could hear me when I just turned it around, but this is a microphone. And so instead of just trying to figure it out on my own, spending forever to do it, I just went to YouTube. YouTube is just full of how-tos, how to do things. And you'll cut down a lot of time trying to search and trying to find it and then trying to figure it out yourself, especially when you've been working hard all day and you come home and you got a new device. I got to figure it out. Go to YouTube. That's the Donna thing, okay? Now, use an external drive for backup. Phil totally lives on this. I would advise using external hard drive or a solid state drive for backup. Now, cloud services are great, but having a local backup of your important files can be a lifesaver. Regular backups can save from unexpected data loss due to hardware failure or accidental deletion. I've done that before. It's noteworthy that as well that physical backup is the best way to secure your data, because I'm always thinking, what if something happens to the cloud? You always have to think of those things. Don't be afraid to experiment with new solutions. The favorite is always experiment with new solutions if you think it will help. For instance, the author goes on to say, I tried about 20 different planning and time management apps before finally finding the one that meets all my needs. Now, remember, your needs in your business or in your family environment could be totally different from somebody else's. So there's no cookie cutter way to do it. Totally agree. Now, if you don't experiment, you might wind up using a tool for years that holds you back from your full potential. Yeah, let's say you got a hobby and you use a Cricut machine. You got all these Cricut images and things like that. And maybe you're in business for yourself, or you decide to be in business for yourself. And you can't find what you need like that. See, that's what this means. Okay, take time to read the manual. Ooh, and the manual that thick, that's hard to do. But when it comes to their technology devices and products, many people don't take the time to read the manual. Okay, or modern terms, fully explore the features. Now, if you really understand the capabilities of your device or the app, you can use your tech to its fullest extent. Now, the the best thing you can do is spend some time learning the features, and what's possible might surprise you. Yeah, I mean, you never know. I have accidentally found something. It's like going all the way around the world to try to do something. And then it's like, oh my goodness. And I try to write it down each simple time. Now, this is what I do when I write something down. Okay, I got myself a clean sheet of paper and I'm trying to figure out how to use an app. I kind of do it in a staircase kind of a way. So what I'll do is I'll just do start. I'm just going to use the word start. I'll put start right here. And then I do the first thing I do number 1 and then number 2. See what I mean? It's just easier to find when you're doing a stair step. Then I start all the way over when I go here. And that way I can find it a whole lot easier. It works for me. You know, I don't know if it'll work for you or not, but it does for me. Okay. This one I'm going to say is probably the number 1 thing. And I want to tell you because when Phil and I owned the internet company, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to say 9.9 times out of 10, if someone just turned the computer off and turned it back on again, it worked. And I still do that. So shut devices down on a regular basis. Now we do that when I'm recording my shows. We have, the internet here. So Phil likes to remember on Monday morning, when everything starts, he'll go ahead and shut everything down, and then he puts it right back up again. Because I found if I don't do that, I'm going to run into a snag. And then I'm going to have somebody I'm trying to interview them, and the internet is not working properly. Also, I don't want my computer on all day long and not shut it down, and then try to record using that laptop when I'm trying to record something if I haven't shut it down. It's next to impossible. And you may do good for the first hour or so, but I'm just telling you, it works to shut everything down. Shut down and restart the devices on a regular basis. Rule number 1, I'd say. There are a lot of apps that run in the background, and when they're running in the background, they're taking up the memory, slowing your device, and shortening that battery life. Now, you can stop all those processes by simply shutting the device down. A bonus is that it also is a reminder to look up from the screen every once in a blue moon. You need to do that. Now, let me show you something on my phone. Okay, even your cell phone, okay, you will have windows open. Okay, all right, so I'm going to click right up here. And I'm going to do this number. Okay, now see all those windows right there that I have open right there? That's taking up time. That's draining my battery out. So what I want to do, every once in a while, I want to just do that. Pull them up. Okay, that gets them down. Now, if you don't want to do that, because after a day, if you're on the internet as much as I am using my cell phone, you can always just turn it off, and that eliminates all those pages. This is called a page on your cell phone, just like you have all those little tabs up there on your computer. It's the same thing. And when you got a whole bunch of tabs running on your computer, that's taking up a lot of space. So you've got that going on, and you've also got, all those little apps that are on your computer as well, and on your cell phone as well. All that stuff is draining the battery down. Let's see if we've got time for one more. I want to do one more. Declutter your digital desktop. Yeah, do that. Declutter, declutter, declutter. Make sure the digital workspace is as organized as your physical space, because it can improve your focus and efficiency. Set up a folder, delete old files and pictures, and transfer unnecessary files to an external disk drive. Cleaning up your digital life will improve the interactions with devices and boost your efficiency. I even do that on my email. So a lot of times you guys will send me email messages, and I want to make sure it doesn't get lost or accidentally deleted in the system. So what I'll do is I'll set up a folder. I'm using Yahoo for my Donna's Edge messages that come in. So I'll design a folder and I'll say messages Monday, and I put the date on it. And then that way I know those are the ones I need to get to first. So if I set up myself little folders, when we were selling our house, and then when we bought this house, we did the same thing, because we had all kinds of documents and stuff we had to sign. And I always wanted to make sure I had them in a good, safe place as well. And so I've got all of those things saved. Through Auburn University, I took a Master Gardener's class. And this is about 3 years ago when I did that. I've still got all those things and saved in a folder. And then that way I can get right to it. If I come up with, say, a plant I've never heard of before, and I've got the seeds for it, and I remember studying it through the university, I know that I've got it. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Donna, and I am your host of Donna's Edge television talk show, Where Truth Matters. You can find us syndicated on Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast now on thenewscasters.com. Appreciate you being with me. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day. See you next time.